Hi, this is Carrie with Carrie's Creations, and today I am going to be making red, white, and blue cookies. So make sure you wash your hands. My hands are clean. I just washed them. And we are going to start putting 2/3 cups of butter in the mixing bowl. 1/3 a cup. This one's another 1/3 cup, so that makes 2/3. Alright, and then it says to add 2/3 cup of shortening, or you can add extra butter, or I'm going to use 2/3 cup of coconut oil. So I have this huge plastic container of coconut oil, so that's what I'm going to use. I'm almost out of this big old thing of coconut oil. Dump that in. And I'm going to use this little whisk attachment and beat the butter and the coconut oil. And you're going to mix it on medium until fluffy. It takes a few minutes. I have it on setting 4, but I'm going to turn it on to setting 6. Okay. And you can see in the bowl that it is fluffy. And you're going to want to scrape down the sides and mix it just a little bit more to make sure all of it's incorporated. I'm just going to mix that one more time just for a few seconds. All right, now we are going to add our brown sugar, which is going to be 2 cups of packed brown sugar. Here's 1 cup, here's 2 cups, and we're going to mix that into the butter and coconut oil. And I'm going to set it to the setting 4 and mix that for a few minutes. All right, and we're going to scrape down the sides and give it another mix. All right, and then we're going to put 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. You can use real vanilla bean if you like the paste. This is all I have right now. And then I'm going to mix that in. And then we're going to add in 2 room temperature eggs. All right. And we're going to add one at a time. And we're going to mix that. And I'm going to mix the other egg into it. And this is what it looks like so far. Now we're going to set this aside, and we're going to get another bowl and mix our dry ingredients together. All right, let me set this aside. Scoot it back. I got another bowl, and we're going to use 3 cups of flour. All right. There's 1. 2. And 3 cups. And next we're going to add 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Next we're going to add 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. Let's do like a heaping spoonful. And it's just cornstarch. 3 tablespoons of vanilla pudding mix. So I'm just using this pudding mix. It's just a sugar-free vanilla instant pudding. And we're going to add 3 tablespoons. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to add a teaspoon of salt. All right, I'm just going to use this pink salt. And this is just a half of a teaspoon right here, so I'm going to need 2 of those. That's probably good enough. Whisk your dry ingredients together to get them mixed well. And then you're going to preheat your oven to 350. Then you're going to combine your dry ingredients to your wet ingredients slowly. So I'm going to use this half a cup measuring cup, and I'm just going to scoop like half of a cup of the dry ingredients into the, well, let's do a whole cup of the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients, and we're going to mix that first. And you want to mix it on like probably a 3 or a 4. All right. Then you're going to want to scrape down the sides of the bowl and get that all into the wet ingredients. All right, and you're going to want to add some more of the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients. And I've been just mixing about a cup at a time. All right, and then you want to scrape the sides. And then I'm going to try to pour the rest of this into the wet ingredients. And then we're going to mix that last part of the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients. We're gonna take this off. And now you want to add in a cup of dried cranberries, or you can use dried cherries for the red. And then you're gonna add in, I got the dried blueberries, the Great Value. That's the only ones I could find in the store. I'm just gonna add the whole bag in. It's a 3.5 ounce bag. And then you're going to want to add, 2 cups of the white chocolate chips, any brand. It's basically the whole bag. Then you're gonna wanna stir this up. I don't know if you can see it. And you're just gonna fold all the dried fruit and the chocolate chips into the cookie dough. And you can add your favorite kind of nuts to the cookie dough, like walnuts or pecans might taste good in it. You could put confetti sprinkles or any other kind of sprinkles to make it whatever holiday you're making these for. But today I'm just using the dried fruit and the chocolate chips to make red, white, and blue for 4th of July. All right, and this is what the dough looks like. I'm just making sure I mix it well, because you want the taste of the blueberries, the cranberries, and the white chocolate chips all in one bite. And then I'm gonna scoop these onto a cookie sheet with parchment paper. And so I have this huge cookie scooper, and it is a lot bigger than the smaller one that I have. I usually do a little bit more than half filled of the bigger cookie scooper. Just like that. I don't know if you can see that I leave a little bit of room, because I try to make at least 12 cookies. A little bit more than half. And a little bit more than half. And I usually get about 8 cookies on a cookie sheet. All right, and this is how much cookie dough I still have. Now it's time to bake. You're going to want to bake your cookies at least at 350 degrees for 12 minutes. After they're done baking, you're gonna want them to cool for about 6 to 10 minutes on the stove or on the oven. And then you're gonna want to transfer them onto a cooling rack. So I'm gonna grab this one off the rack, and you can see the dried fruit, cranberries and blueberries inside of the cookie. And I'm going to take a bite. That was pretty good. Thank you for watching.